Simmons.
Hello, I'm Captain LV, and this is Fleet Friday with Hook and Ladder 6.
Alright.
Attention Taftville Fire Rescue, attention Taftville Fire Rescue. Station 44, Station 6, Rescue Station 4, Medic Station 6. Respond to Box 44, Lee Street for a confirmed first alarm commercial structure fire. That's going to be Engine 44, Engine 6, Hook and Ladder 44, Rescue 4, 1101, Battalion 1, District 1, and Safety 35. Multiple callers state that 6th floor is fully engulfed with possible traps.
Alright, I'm here with one of the Station 6 captains. We're just gonna go over the basic functions and the basic calls that Hook and Ladder 6 would go to. Alright, would you please explain what calls Hook and Ladder 6 goes to?
Yes, Hook and Ladder 6 usually goes to most MVAs, commercials, structure fires, all sorts of fire like that. We also take more of the advanced rollover calls depending on the staffing on our special operations companies, so it all varies on the day and how what the other station's staffing looks like. But we usually get toned out and go to major calls.
Okay, that's cool. Alright, what's the main job of the Hook and Ladder 6 officer?
The main job of the Hook and Ladder 6 officer, as myself, my job is to make sure that everything on the rig is where it's supposed to be. Also to direct our chauffeur on what street to go to, and it's also to update Metcom of where we're going. Make sure they know what our status is. It's also to make sure that I know that my firefighters have experience coming out of the academy, no matter how long they've been working in the field for. So yeah, it's
Alright, now
basic.
we're gonna go over some of the basic compartments of Hook and Ladder 6.
Alrighty guys, so behind me we have the cab of the tiller. This is where all of our staffing goes. Tiller can staff up to 5 people in the cab, and then 1 person in the back, so a total staffing of 6. This is where the chauffeur drives some of our minor and small equipment with our helmet, gear, and stuff like that stays. Then we have the officer seat, which is where I sit. I check the MDT, make sure I know where we're going, make sure my officer drives, and that I communicate with Metcom on where we're going, and yeah. So if we take our way over here, this is our EMS compartment. In here we have life packs, jump packs, and all the basic medical calls like that. We have our BLS bags, ALS bags. We have monitors, medic bags, all that good stuff to assist with medical calls for manpower if we're needed. And then if we keep going left, over here are our hand tools. Hand tools, we have a lot of that. It's more based off of what we're going to use for calls a lot, like Halligan, irons, ticks, or if you don't know the short abbreviation for it, it's our thermal imaging camera. We have a fire rake, flathead axes, sledgehammers, crowbars, irons, and all that good stuff that will help us, that we will use on fireground calls, depending on what it is. If we keep going left, here are our hooking cans. Our hooks are for all the basic like we have pike poles, New York hooks, and Halligans. We have an LA hook, and then we have a dry chem, and then our can. Our can is used for the more minor and small, I would say, kitchen appliance calls that we would not to bring a fire attack line up to the highest floor of the building, or depending what it is. We could take the can and it has the right amount of water or gear that we need in it to use and knock down the fire. And then in this compartment right here, we have our cribbing and our struts. Our cribbing is used to stabilize the tires of a vehicle on a whether the vehicle is still not in park, in neutral, park, drive, reverse, all that stuff. So we can put the cribbing under the tires in a specific spot to make sure it doesn't roll away or cause any more further damage to the vehicle until our crews can get the battery cut and put it in park, and then we can assess the vehicle from there. And then our struts are mainly used for MVA with rollovers and stabilization with vehicles that are not stabilized in a perfect area. It's also mainly used for only rollover calls, or depends on what kind of call we get toned out to. And we have a tarp for like medical calls where we have like a NCI or something like that. We can put all of our PTs on, and medical can provide attention there. And then if we keep going left, this is going to be our extraction proportion. This is where we have our spreaders, our cutters like that, our jaws of life that is also known as that. These are for extracting and taking off the doors of the vehicle and forcing entry. Some more advanced tools instead of just opening the door, because depends on the call, the doors will be jammed on the vehicle. And then we have a generator, airbags on the vehicle, and then we have a spill bucket. So then, if we keep going left, we have our hazmat compartment. Our hazmat compartment is not really used. There's a bunch of stuff like sandbags where we'll contain the liquid, which none of us are hazmat certified. That is not a certification that none of us have on this rig, so it's a compartment that we don't usually use other than depending if there's like glass on a vehicle call that crashed. So we can sweep that up, and then we can put it in a bucket and contain it. This is our last compartment on the left side. This has all of our saws and stuff like that. We have a K12 chainsaw for ventilation, and if we need to go up on the roof for ventilation, cut some holes in the ceiling and make more more airways for the smoke to release in new areas to start fire attack from. Then we also have a rip pack, and then we have a that's it.
One. Alright, I'm here with one of the tillermen of Hook and Ladder 6. Would you like to explain what you do as the tillerman of Hook and Ladder 6?
Yep, so I'm Firefighter Dirtbike. I'm the tillerman on Hook and Ladder 6 tonight, and my job is to basically steer the back of the tiller, which means this truck is accessible in little alleyways, so that way we could get to house fires, stuff like that are in smaller streets that most trucks can't get to. So all I do is really just control the back while the other driver steers the front. So yeah.
Alright, that's nice. Alright, would you like to show us what the ladders compartment is all about?
Yeah, so if we come back here to the ladders compartment here. Back here we got a broom, pike pole, New York hook, and then we got 4 ladders. We got a 16-foot ladder, 20-foot ladder, 24-foot ladder, and also a 35-foot ladder. So that's all for the ladders compartment.
Okay, that's nice. Alright, now moving to the officer side, we have a mist compartment and a high-rise compartment.
Yep. So back here in the mist compartment, all we got is some tape, the caution tape you see on fire scenes and stuff like that, and then we also got cones. But that is all for the mist compartment there. Yeah, so our high-rise compartment here just contains our high-rise pack 1 and high-rise pack 2. Not really sure the difference of them, but basically they're just a hose you could carry up to the high-rise, and yeah.
What would the high-rise
So, yeah,
line be used for?
So the high line pack can be used for the high rise, as you can see back there. So we could throw that over our shoulder and carry it inside. And then once we find a connection point inside the building, we can go ahead, connect that, and start fighting the fire from in the building.
Alright, now we're gonna go over the last 4 compartments on the officer side.
Alrighty, over here we have the rescue compartment. In here we have a tripod. We have ropes for rope rescue technician, certified people that need to go down in caves and search for PTs or anyone that is involved that cannot get out on their own. And then we have acropops. We have 3 different sizes. We have a large one, a medium one, and a small one. Um, Acroprops are a vertical support system, which is basically used for overhead loads, like basically like construction and stuff along the lines of that. And if we go over here to this compartment isn't labeled, so there's nothing really used for that yet. But we're working on finding more supplies that we can use to staff that compartment. And then over here we have more resources for our hook and cans. Over here there's less stuff, but more advanced. We have a Boston hook over here, and all that other stuff. Basically, these are just extras. If we have all of the stuff on the other side taken, which can be used for extras for overhaul for other rigs that do not contain the supplies that we use. And then if we go over here, these are yet again same thing for the extra hook and cans. These are extra hand tools for Halligans and stuff that other units can come take, and that can use for overhaul if they need it. Same thing with the other one.
Alright.
And then if we keep making our way over here, this is another extra medical equipment compartment with all the life packs and stuff. This is basically just an extra one in case our other one decides to not work or is not working for some reason.
So you're just saying like
And
this is just like an extra in case the other side's either like if the
yeah,
jump bag's either like expired or you just don't have time to restock it.
yeah, we would usually have time to restock it, but depending if it doesn't come in time, we would have to wait for medical to give us our supplies back and give us new stuff, and it
Alright.
would go through the department.
Okay. One thing I realized, um, what are these like supply connections for if you don't have a pump?
That is a good question. So this right here, on our ladder we have something called an aerial. It's basically a fire hose that is connected to our ladder for aerial operations. So right here, you could hook up a supply line, and basically it would run water through any other normal fire engine. And then once you connect it, you have the ladder up to the set point where you want it, and then basically you can turn it on, and then it will start shooting water and helping fire attack through the top of the from the top of the ladder, and you can aim it wherever you want on the structure to start fire suppression.
Alright, I'm here with the captain that was showing us the whole rig. He's gonna go over and show us what the ladder can do.
One I copy, you're on scene. I believe they're in a fire.
Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and make our way up here, and we're gonna come around and get inside. So this is the seat. This is the basic functions of moving it up, down, and putting our stabilizers out to stabilize the ladder, make sure it doesn't move or anything like that. Um, all right, and then we're gonna go ahead and put our stabilizers down, or also known as outriggers. We're gonna go ahead and wait for that to get done. All right,
What's
this is
the
the
point of
ladder.
having
You can
outriggers?
The point of having it is to stabilize the ladder, and it comes slightly off the ground to make sure that nothing is able to move it, and it's stabilized in case our ladder decides to fail on us, and depends on what happens.
Okay.
Yep. But this is the ladder. It can move up, it can move down, it can move right, it can move left. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it up on the roof for you guys. So this is a ladder. It's a 105-inch ladder. So we're gonna go ahead and put it up towards the roof. You can also extend it, and then you can retract it. We're gonna go ahead and extend it all the way.
That's a long ladder.
Yep, very long. So it helps us a lot. So this is the ladder. Come up here. Over here we have
Back on the board now, sir.
these are the sides that show that we're the ladder, and it's for more stabilization. Keep going up a little further, and we have these little fences things on the side to make sure that we do not climb up and fall off the sides. That would be a bad day, and it would suck for a chief to write that up. And we're gonna keep going to the top. Up here is where the aerial thing is that we were talking about earlier. So up here, there's a little wheel that you can spin that will start, that will connect the water and keep it running through this large pipe that is directly under the ladder. Water will flow through it, and then it will come out the nozzle up here, and a bunch of other stuff that helps support it and make sure it stays connected to the ladder and it does not fail.
That was the Fleet Fighter Hook and Ladder 6. Hope you enjoyed the video. Would you guys like to say anything before we go?
Nope.
Alright. Have a good day. You can join Taftville by
Stand by, sir.
GG/tvfr on Discord. And have a good day.